Hello everyone. In this chapter we will talk about Playwright selectors. That will explain how Playwright approaches selecting locators. So basically we'll locate selectors and see how we can approach and how we can follow best practices. Playwright has made this job simple. It offers some of the best options that you can select locators, and it has made this very readable and simple. But before we go to Playwright selectors, we may go in the selectors in general. Like all the ways that we use selectors are kind of the same. I mean, in the way we use selectors in automation do not differ that much, but then some tools have their strategies and their way of doing things, but you will face these general selectors in every tool that you use. We use selectors as strings to create locators in the document object model in order to perform various actions as clicking, typing, or filling a form, dragging, scrolling, and other options that a real user can do. And in general, we have CSS selectors, and you may know that, like we have classes, IDs. Even though I placed ID here separately, I just want to emphasize it. And then we have attributes in CSS, we have lists, and we have all other CSS and HTML elements are included here in the CSS selectors. We can select locators by text, by name, and by XPath. I may have a separate video just for XPath, because sometimes when we want to create complex locator strategies, sometimes the CSS selectors are not enough. In that case, XPath comes to rescue because it is really powerful, even though sometimes the syntax may be a bit overloaded or not readable. In some cases, it is really powerful. With XPath, you can create dynamic locators and selectors. So sometimes you may have like a function to select something based on a specific name, or you need to change some attributes or some variables or something like that, and you want to make it dynamic. So you just pass the value and then you select one thing. That is done with XPath. Even though now Playwright will offer, we will see some locator strategies and options will offer the same thing. Believe me, sometimes you will need XPath, and there are some locator cases where only XPath can be the solution. So as I said, I may have a separate video explaining XPath a bit, or maybe provide you some resources to learn XPath language in this case. So it's kind of selector language, you can say. Okay, now let's switch to Playwright selectors. Here are most of the Playwright selectors examples. Playwright also offers something like view selectors, React selectors, and you can check the documentation if you want to think that's something that you may face in the future. So one of the simpler selectors that Playwright offers is the text selector. As you can see, you can select something based on text. So you may have a button or a something else, an HTML element that contains this text. All you have to do is page.locator, write the text equals the text that you want to click in this case, and that will work. In this case, it is preferred that the text is unique, but if there is more than one text, like login text in this case, then you may have to specify like the first element because it won't work. But we will see that in practice. Then you can have CSS selectors, like in this case a button. Instead of the button can be an input or something like that. but this is the way that you can use CSS selectors. You can also have some conditions, like in this case you want a button, but that button should be visible in order to be clicked. So in this case you can apply this by just selecting visible elements. And then you can also select an element that is contained inside another element. In this case you may have an article that has a div with a class promo. So in this case this is really helpful because you're kind of wrapping an article, and then within that article you want to select this, and yeah, this is great. You can also have matching condition locator strategies like this one. So this one, what this one means is you can either locate a button that has a text login, or you can locate a button that has a text sign in. So if one of these conditions is fulfilled in this case, the selector will click. So this is also a great option. Let's move on. You can also select elements based on layout. For example, this one, what it does, it locates this input on the right of the text username, it clicks and it fills. So you can basically specify the layout position. Then, as I said, XPath selectors. This is just a simple XPath, and it selects a button. And I will kind of explain the way you can use XPath. It works like this, like nodes, but we'll check this later. Then you may have heard about the attributes. If you want best practices in locators, you may want to have some specific attributes for testing, only for testing, and they will be very stable and they won't change. So with Playwright you can select testing attributes like this one, and we'll check this too. Then you can check also an nth element, like you want a button, the first button in this case, you can write this one, and if you want second, then you will try one, etc. So this is also a good option. And you can also chain selectors, like you can just narrow down. In this case you have an article, then a class, then another class, then you find this span within those. So this is also a good option. Yeah, so these, I think, like combining these selectors will provide you with any solution you want. This is all about the selectors as an introduction. So using these will allow you to build your locator strategies. And also, since we now have an idea on what selectors we can use in Playwright, I will have a separate video to explain some best practices and choosing the best of these options that I have presented here. Thank you, and see you on the next video.